Hello, my name's Kathy Bissell. Welcome to the Golf Show 2.0. Today, Gary and I are pleased to have a woman who started something from nothing. And believe me, I know how hard it is to do that. Elisa Gaudet of Women's Golf Day. Elisa, please tell us about the whole 10-year anniversary of your organization and what you've done.
Yes, first of all, thank you very much for having me on. It's great to
A
see you
pleasure.
both. All of us, long time in the industry. Women's Golf Day started in 2016. So this is 10 years, and that's a really hard to believe. It's been 10 years already, but I'm proud of that, of the fact that there was consistency. I think that's something that we needed. We weathered COVID and a lot of other things. But this is a player development program. So this wasn't a get rich quick, let's see what we can do type of program, because it actually is. It's become a movement, but it's a program. And it was designed with the PGA teaching pros, with the golf courses. I'm 25 years in the business side of golf. So this is what we saw. And there's a lot of data out there, and I'm sure everybody's by now read a lot of these studies that said women were interested in golf, but they were quick to try it, but equally quick to leave. So like anybody who's in business is going to say, what's wrong with the retention? So what we found out is they had said it took too long, it was not friendly, et cetera, et cetera. So we took all those complaints and just flipped it. So this is a 1-day, 4-hour experience for women and girls. The first 2 hours, women show up and they can either take lessons for 2 hours, usually an hour on the driving range, an hour chipping and putting, or they're going to play a 9-hole shotgun scramble. And then there's 2 hours of socializing. And that's the optimal way that women can ask any questions they want to the other ladies when they get to the social part. They can say, hey, just come and sit on the cart with me next time I play in, 9, and you'll understand. That is how women function and work. The great thing now is the golf courses register with us on our platform. And they do the teaching, they do the instruction. They decide if the event is public or private, and if they charge a fee or not. It's their own micro business. So we're not only bringing everybody together, the industry pros, we're giving them a way to generate revenue and to perpetuate, ongoing, whether it's classes, women that are new, get them in, get their children into a junior program, any family programs, 9 and Wine for the friends. I mean, we know there's so many things. Have your daughter's wedding. There's a good one.
Yeah. So you bring
make some money.
Yeah, you bring in new customers, which is great for them.
Right. And some things are recession proof. People are still going to celebrate Christmas or corporate outings or birthdays and weddings. So, it's important to know. I always say this, 25 years, I know you guys too have all been in the industry, but inevitably when we have a downturn is when like, hey, we want to get women in juniors.
Yeah.
Like it's a carton of milk, you just pick it up at the corner store like a carton of milk. So
after they've been stepping on them and trying to get them out of the way, now we need you. Please come. Same old story. I always interested in the origin. Was there a specific day you had this idea? Can you tell me how you came up with it, and then how do you take that idea and do anything with it?
Yeah, so I was living in New York City, and I went to this event in Central Park. It was a yoga company that was launching, and they, you sign up, you paid a fee, and you went in Central Park, and it was like all you saw were these yellow mats. Everybody did yoga, and then and I was like, oh, that would be so cool. What is in the golf industry? Well, immediately that's a liability. You could have like people in a park swinging a club, didn't know what they're doing, but that kind of prompted it. And then the Susan Coleman, and our industry has a lot of fragmentation. There's so many governing bodies. It's not just one Roger Goodell making the rules. So that's also plays into it. So the idea was, let's get and we have, that's one of the things I'm super proud of. We have the PGA of America, the USGA, and the RNA, all three that support us. So I don't take that lightly, and I make sure that everything we do, that we carry those names, but it really is meant to usher, to get more business for the golf course, for the pros, to give them a way that we know this formula works. So here it is. And, when they register with us, they get a digital marketing kit. They have a page on our website that talks about all the other things they do at that facility. for the year, so it's not just that one event.
I like the way your program has evolved, because I think when you started, you kind of just had the name and people showed up to do whatever. And now you've got it broken down. Tell us about the early ones and what you had and what you figured out that you needed to do that women wanted.
Yeah. So when it first started out, and we asked the industry, I asked Troon and PGA Tour Superstore and what have you. I didn't just wake up and go, hey, June sounds like a great day, So they had all said Tuesday. We all know there's like charity events on a Monday and obviously the weekend. Okay. This is pre-Me Too 2016. So there was no, come on, ladies, hop on Saturday morning. That was not going to happen.
Yeah.
So we landed on Tuesday, and it was just a one-day event. It was the first Tuesday in June. And then COVID happened. It's always been the format. I don't think that the pros adopted it or the courses as they probably should have, but they have now, because it's really easy. We know that it works. And listen, if the three of us and two other people were taking tennis lessons, we've never taken tennis, we're always with new people. No one's sitting there going, let's go to Wimbledon. So the idea that we're mixing new and existing golfers, and when we know the data shows that they're not comfortable, they don't feel, here's a way to ease. And every single one of us in the golf industry, we all have a friend that we wish played golf. That you'd love to go hang out and chat with. I mean, I know I have friends you can talk to, you're blue in the face, they're not interested. But that's one of the reasons too. So we even have this year a campaign. We've always had the hashtag, but we're leaning into it, and it is called Bring a Friend.
Oh, that's really smart.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me much. Now you're totally international with this. My recollection is there's something like 1,370 locations that participated last year. Do you have the same kind of numbers this year? I mean, it's, you just started with a handful of locations is what I recall.
Exactly. So we have 1,350 locations that have hosted it. So It drops on and off. We'll probably do, our peak was probably 900 to 1,000, and it'll float somewhere between 4 to 8. There's a lot of things. We changed technology, different years, but we're 85 countries. That is also.
Yeah.
And
does this give you an excuse to go visit some of those countries on Women's Golf Day and hang out with somebody?
Gary, I'm living off of like 2 hours of sleep, like leading up to that. I'm going to visit those countries after for a vacation. No, I am headed to Thailand, but I'm speaking at the PGA, the European PGA, but the PGA of GB&I, they have an international division. That's the Asia Pacific. And I'm speaking at their conference. So they've asked me, and I could never really do it. And this year I said, I'm not, because Zoe falls right before our event. Yeah. But this year I'm organized, and we've been talking to Australia. And so the federation there and the PGA, and that's what people don't realize. I mean, we were talking to all these governing bodies and multi-course owners, and just trying to get everybody like, hey, work together. And take it from there. We're not telling you how to teach. We're not going to teach. We're just trying to get everybody to play in the sandbox together.
Trying to bring everybody in the door for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I have a new favorite phrase. It's, we're stock in the pond we all fish in.
Yes, you are. You are, absolutely. Because that's the difficulty with growth, is getting new people to come to the golf course. And it can be a very intimidating game and a very intimidating situation for people who are not comfortable. I'm lucky I grew up with parents who were members at a country club in a little town that I was in. And so I learned how to be comfortable in a golf environment, and not everybody is. So that's an important part of it, whether you're a man or a woman.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And that's what we've noticed. That is the biggest. And I think from an industry perspective, if we haven't taken a good look at Topgolf by now, that's the consumers speaking. So they want, I think we have to just listen. Everybody if you want to play 18, if you've got the time in your life to play 18, I applaud you. I personally don't. I don't. I play 9.
You need to fix your life then. There's something wrong. I don't have time for 18 holes. You need to reevaluate.
I know. I've been reevaluating for about 8.5 years now after this started to ramp up. Like, what did I get myself into? And it keeps growing. But I play 9 and I live in West Palm. And that, I think Seth Waugh and the PGA were really instrumental in getting the park up and going. It's right down the street from me. Wow, what a gift that is. Open till 9 p.m. The driving range is lit. They have a par 3 that's lit. And
Nice.
I started playing in a league because it started women's league
Good
every
for you.
Tuesday night because it started at like 6.
Sure.
And I could play. It's like 7:30. We were done.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's amazing what happens when golf can fit your schedule instead of you having to fit the golf schedule.
Yeah, and these concepts like there in Frisco, that, PGA, Omni, these park-friendly, really different kind of vibe, and just being open late, like, why not? Yeah, it's amazing.
I used to work.
I think that the main problem that nobody ever wanted to address in growing the game is the people who were, men have always ruled the game. So it's not that they're against women. They're against anybody who's not really a good player or who moves along quickly. So that they think women are slow, which some are, but a lot of men are slow. Everybody's in favor of junior golf until there's a bunch of kids in front of them on the course, and even seniors who are slow. It is, if you're not already adept at golf and you're going out to a golf course that is busy and you're in front of good golfers, I mean, it's uncomfortable. There's just no way to play fast if you have it swinging 140 times and somebody else is swinging 80 times. So that's the issue that they never want to address. But really, it's men made the rules for years, and they didn't want women in their way because they just assumed none of them could play dead or move. And this is a great way to get people going. I think simulator golf is the way to teach people, but everyone's realized that, as you said, Elisa, that they need women and juniors and everybody to play golf. And I know we're at peak play, I think, worldwide. I think we're at the highest level we've ever had. So something's working, and it's great to see.
Oh, Gary, what do you see with the tee times? I know you play a lot of golf every place you go.
It's hard to get one. The club I'm at is at peak membership, and it's got 3 nines, and we just started a system. I say we, the club pro announced it, but they're having a lottery for the Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, and Sunday morning tee time. So, based on my history in the lottery, I'm not optimistic. I'm still waiting for that Powerball ticket to come through.
No, this is exactly the point. Like we're saying, so like if you say like, oh well, listen, why don't you play on the weekends? Well, those spots are gone like that, or the people that habitually have a Saturday morning X or groups that are going out. So then where does it leave you? It leaves you just the weekdays, and I can't in the middle of the day go out.
And you don't want to be a not very good golfer in a foursome of not very good golfers on Saturday morning in front of a foursome of good golfers who are just going to make you uncomfortable. And in some cases, they're rude. And, these guys have already had a few adult beverages. It just doesn't work for those people. So, that's why Top Golf is great. You don't have to go find your ball and pick it up. You're not in anybody's way. Same with simulator golf. It's great, but it gets you ready for outdoor golf. So, but nobody ever discusses that in golf. They just say we have to grow the game. Well, if it's if you're a 14-year-old girl and you don't have 2 friends who want to play golf, what are you going to do? You're going to go to the golf course by yourself? Nobody wants to see you out there by yourself. And with all the men hanging around, it's not a comfortable place to be.
That's right. You're absolutely right about that. The other thing too is perhaps Elisa will move on to this topic a little bit later on her 20th anniversary of Women's Golf Day. Is that if courses would appropriately move up some of the tees for beginners. If a good woman golfer only hits a tee shot 150 yards. So if she's playing a hole that is 475 yards, she's got no prayer of getting there in 2 shots, and she prays she could get there in 3. But if that tee is moved up to 300 yards, she can have some fun. And she'll hit 1 less shot or 2 less shots, and she'll speed along. But no one ever wants to talk about that. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox and back to
Yeah, I think that, I mean, it buzzes around now and again, but I do think in general, and whether it's a woman or a senior or a child or men that are just obstinate, like you're not that good. I think you should play the tees that of your level of golf.
Yes.
I wholeheartedly believe in that.
And if there's no tees there, just go up to where the fairway starts and peg it and go from there. Men lay out these courses, and all these pro golfers who design courses, they don't design courses for people who shoot 95 to 110, which is the vast majority. They design them for the scratch players, the 4 handicappers. So whether it's a male or a woman, these courses are not designed for the average person, and they're a big part of the problem.
Yeah. We agree with that one. Well, Elisa, what kind of celebration are you going to do? Are you going to make yourself a cake? Or are you going to?
I hope you need fireworks and milkshakes. If you have fireworks and milkshakes, everybody's in.
We are, well, we're not going to be having milkshakes, but we are going to be having Prosecco.
Right.
So we are, so it's a week long now. So after COVID, we moved it to a week long celebration. So the last Tuesday in May to the first Tuesday in June.
Good.
And I give a little plug here. I encourage any golf course. It's like we're about 4.5 weeks out. Sign up. We give you a digital marketing kit. Everything is done. It's really easy. We can still do that. But I will be in Frisco at exactly the PGA headquarters. We have a huge, great, amazing event planned with the Omni, with the PGA of America right there. And it will be, we have this thing called Signature Series, like elevated events. I'm a former tour employee. So it's like we're taking the same concept. And these are just like events that are exactly that, elevated or a little more signature. So we're doing that there. We're getting a tour of, it's going to be 100 women, tour of the PGA headquarters, which is not, for an average person would not be able to do that. We're going to have a panel discussion and the trophy for the KPMG championship because it's being held there 2 weeks later.
Oh, okay.
And that is the cool thing. So, and you can see also where our buzz, which is during our week, which we get a lot of social media and us being there, we're going to hopefully generate interest in tickets, kick off ticket sales. So we've been doing more of these signature series around tour events, like early week on the PGA Tour, or we've done it with RBC for a couple years, their event. And that's what we're doing, just, around bigger events and getting women. And, because besides teaching them golf, I try to keep looking at ways we can give more opportunities to women. So I think a lot of women would like to go, like a C-suite woman who is, part of a tour package. You can go in and you don't necessarily have to play with Rory. You have to be pretty darn good to play the conditions that the course is in, and play in a Wednesday pro-am is beyond scary. Yeah. Beyond. So here you could have on Tuesday or Wednesday, we have a women's golf day event at an adjacent course, or if there's space on a course where the tour is playing. And then they could get, all the women there could get looped right into a hospitality unit, even by the sponsor that we're working with or what have you. And I think that's it. They want to be in the mix for business. I mean, I hear it all the time. Like, I wish I played golf. I wish I knew for business. I feel hindered. And I always say the only thing you're missing is the person sitting in the cart. If you can do all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. Where can women go to find out about Women's Golf Day and see if there's one near them and sign up for it?
womensgolfday.com. And we've got 2 buttons, one that says find a location and one that says register a location. So
that sounds complicated.
Yeah. And even on the homepage, there's 2 images. One is 2 women walking on a golf course and one is a picture of a golf course. So whichever one you scroll your mouse over or your finger, that's the one. If you're a golf course, we got to make it easy. Got to make it easy.
Besides
well,
besides yourself, are there any other famous celebrities signed up for Women's Golf Day?
Um,
Paige
oh my,
Spiranek.
no, I don't.
I
I
can't
don't
even think of
know.
any names.
Kim
No,
Alexis
Cheryl
is
Ladd.
Kim Alexis, yeah, she's one of our ambassadors. We do have ambassadors, Sarah Bennett in the UK. Yeah, we have a pretty extensive ambassador team. I don't know about, they're just people that are in the industry, all different parts,
Kim,
men and women.
Kim is
So,
our first
yeah,
supermodel. So, and very nice. I spoke to her last year at the PGA show.
yes,
She's
absolutely. She's
a
in
lovely
Arizona.
person. Yeah.
I'll tell you who the superstar is. There's a woman named Natalie who's out of Dobson Creek. Last year, she had 350 women on their driving range and turned it into, yep. So we gave her, we have an award every year, Inspire Action, for people who literally inspire. And so she had done it and there was 200. And then she went to beat her record. And this past, because I went out to the event, Kim Alexis reminded me, went with us too for that one, and 350. And then you look at it and you go, it just takes one person. I mean, that's where you're like, all the work we do, I'm like, so worth it. And that's it. Then hopefully they take those women and plug them into whatever it is that they want, whether it's league play or lessons or 9 in Wine. That's where I think for women especially, everybody has a lot of commitments, but a lot of women are juggling, whether it's families and a lot of other home responsibilities, is just take them where they're at. Don't try to jam them into being league players. I mean, yes, we all love people to play well, but at a certain age, if you're not going for an NCAA scholarship or, trying to go LPGA, why are you going to rack your brain? If you can only play 9 and you're enjoying it, play 9 and enjoy it.
Which course will you be at on Women's Golf Day?
Well, I'm going to be at the Frisco one on May 30th. So people can go and go to that one. They can fly in. They can live there. I think they're already selling the tickets on Eventbrite. And we'll see. We have hopefully somewhere in this area. We've got a few things brewing that could be very cool in this West Palm.
Every time I see a mention of you on Twitter or on Facebook, you're in some country. How many countries have you visited, would you guess?
Nobody says that. I don't think I'm that. Am I that much?
You're a big international traveler. You've been to a lot of places. How many countries would you guess you've been to?
I have no idea. I don't know. I should track that one day. Listen, I do a lot of repeats. I'm a big fan of Morocco. They've also, usually they have 13. I think you've been down there as well. We may have been down, right?
I've been to Gibraltar, but I didn't have time to go across to Morocco.
Well, they have this Hassan II Lala Miriam. Yep. So it's a PGA Champions Tour and a Ladies European, but they play simultaneously on adjoining courses on the same week. It's in February. So that's my last, I think, big overseas trip. And I've been going to that. I'm a huge supporter. I applaud them. And they've been doing this since the 70s when the king was King Hassan, who started it. So people sit there and when I hear sometimes, first of all, it's Muslim light, I always call it, it's Morocco. But it's unbelievable. They've been doing that for years and people are worried about, how are it's the safest, most beautiful country with the most hospitable people. And I can't say enough good things. I love Morocco.
I think Butch Harmon, used to teach King Hussein I. Is that right?
Absolutely. You're right. Yeah. The Harmons have a very strong tie.
Yeah.
And Ernie Els was there. He's a past winner when he was on the regular tour. Now it's Champions Tour. So I saw him this year out there and a couple other familiar faces, which made me feel really old. When I worked on the tour, I was the people that are there, and now it's Champions Tour. And I was like,
Yeah, well, you don't look old. All right, what's the single most memorable golf shot you have personally ever hit in your life? And why was it memorable?
I have the craziest, I have a little golf ball saved that I made at the time, the head of marketing for Rolex. And I'm not a great golfer, but I can talk smack and I have a decent short game. So I'm going to press you for money. I'll put $5 and nothing crazy, but it adds a little pressure. I do better with a little bit of financial pressure like that. and I beat him. And he's a
All
good
right.
player. So I have him sign the golf ball, and I have it sitting in my bar. It's like people are like, why is there a golf ball sitting in this? I'm like, yeah, it's just you can do anything. You never know.
I would think you'd have gotten a Rolex out of that bet. I don't know.
No, I did not. The only other thing I would say is not necessarily a shot, but I played Pebble alone. I did a walk on.
Nice.
Yeah, I was out there, and I think had very much, especially it was a couple of years ago, this carpe diem. Everybody dreams of going to these places with like either your family or your best friends, and sometimes you can't keep waiting for those things. I think I was right there, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna dial in. Now that you get many breaks, all you can get is no breaks on the pricing or anything. It's just like dial in, no matter who you are. It feels like at least get me on. And I think as a single, I was able to get on. Yeah. So
super. Well, congratulations on your 10th anniversary year. We know you're headed to the airport here shortly, and we don't want to hold you up from that. I know what it's like to pack and go, and so does Gary. So
I hope you've got clear for the airport.
Not at all, Gary. You just said it. I got clear, TSA.
Yeah, you got to have clear if you're going places.
Yeah, I got them all. Well, I don't necessarily pack light. Haven't learned that lesson yet, but I am very prepared.
Pack light and then do laundry when you're there, or buy new stuff.
That's a guy mentality. No, I've got to. They're like throwing a gala. They throw in a golf day. They throw in a conference, and you're speaking. I'm not going to show up in a golf shirt to speak.
A guy would have to I'd have to actually pack a clean shirt for that. Forget it. Well, 10 years of Women's Golf Day, all because of you. Good job. Job well done. Have a safe trip to Thailand. Thanks for joining us on the Golf Show 2.0.
Thank you, guys. We really appreciate it. This helps us a lot, too, getting the word out. So I appreciate it.
Okay. Bye-bye. Happy travel.